How's it going, fans of the We Want a WWE Attitude Era? This is your administrator coming to you again for the daily video of our page. I'm here to talk to you about TNA versus WWE. Yes, that's right, WWE people versus TNA. A lot of people want to know about this. Um, Only got a few comments on my status, even though I have almost 800 fans, guys. When I ask what videos want to be made, you know, help me out. Suggest something. Everybody wants to know something about WWE. Everybody wants to see a video about WWE. Everybody's got ideas. Don't be afraid. Share them. And when I put up votes, vote for them. You know, all you gotta do is click it. That's an easy one. All right. So WWE versus TNA. Personally, I like them both. I like WWE a little more for reasons like the fact that it's a large franchise. It's got pretty good talent, a lot of talent, and other reasons like the fact that it's got more money, more fans, the crowd's louder. I like loud crowds. They get me pumped, and more merchandise. I mean, WWE really has it all. They are a monopoly company. They are the Microsoft of wrestling. And TNA. Why do I like TNA? Why, and, other companies too. I like ROH. I like FCW, which is the WWE territory, and I like other indie wrestling promotions. Why do I like those? Because they stick closer to the Attitude Era, along the lines of their storylines are better. They're not afraid to have blood, not afraid to use weapons, not afraid to use match types, add stipulations. They're not afraid to actually wrestle. I mean, WWE has restrictions on some wrestling moves. How stupid is that? Um, WWE No Blood. I've already discussed this in other videos. That's why I like, especially TNA. However, TNA's weaknesses would include the fact that they have Vince Russo, Hulk Hogan, um, Ric Flair, and Eric Bischoff. Now, some of those weaknesses um, could be strengths if Vince Russo disappeared. Vince Russo is killing that company as far as the fact that crappy booking, horrible storylines, and garbage like that. Hulk Hogan, I think he could be a strength if he really wanted to be, but I think he needs to go because he'll never want to be what he needs to be. And what he needs to be is someone who either pushes over new talent or stays backstage. And he'll do neither of that. He still thinks he's in the 80s and he dresses like a teenager. Um, Hulk Hogan, I love him to death still. He's a good wrestler, or he was. And I have good respect for him. But the fact that he's backstage still trying to wrestle when he has a hole in his back and has had numerous surgeries and is probably in his 60s at least is ridiculous. He needs to give it up. He needs to push over the talent and he needs to take a backstage role. If he did that, he'd be a strength for TNA because he's a famous guy. People want to watch if Hulk Hogan's on it. He's famous. But he just can't be out there trying to win still. It's over. His career's done. He had a great career. Leave it at that. Ric Flair, same way. Rick needs to stop. One day, Rick is just going to be wrestling, and his body will turn to ashes, and they'll sweep him away. And that's how it'll end, right in the ring. He'll just turn to ashes. Ric Flair is probably about 20 years older than Hulk Hogan, and he definitely needs to stop. Definitely. And, he needs to retire, I think. He could take a backstage role, but that'd probably be too exhausting for him, too. I think he just needs to retire completely. Vince Russo needs to get fired, and what I think would really save the TNA company is if Paul Heyman, yes, I'm a Paul Heyman guy, just like CM Punk. Paul Heyman came in and took over TNA, it'd be much better. However, they won't let that happen because Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, Vince Russo, and Bischoff would all be fired immediately. Dixie Carter would have no control over the company at all, and some of the wrestlers would also be fired too. So they'll never let that happen. If they do, TNA will easily compete with WWE, but if they don't, there's no chance. WWE's strengths would be right now CM Punk and the fact that there's a new boss, Triple H. That's it. WWE does not have that many strengths as far as I'm concerned, and as far as us Team Attitude fans are concerned, because PG is not a strength at all, except for the fact that it brings in children that will grow into the company. That's the only strength of PG. After that, there's nothing. Um, and the fact that their promos for wrestlers are almost always scripted. They always happen at the beginning of the show at the same time. It's predictable. The matches are singles matches. I mean, WWE has probably more weaknesses than TNA does. It's just WWE has kids that will watch no matter what, where TNA targets the adult audience that demands a good product. I think, I personally think TNA should go PG to get the bigger audience, because PG does work for getting bigger audiences, but um, it just doesn't last. I mean, you can't do it for the length that WWE does it for. You need to go PG, then switch back. And PG doesn't mean let's take out all the excitement. It means let's allow kids to watch, but try and balance it out. If you, I'm not sure if you know this, but SmackDown has always been PG, and at one time it was a great show. Still, swearing was just bleeped out. You know, don't take that privilege away from the wrestlers from using it during their promos, because a lot of them, it helps them get fired up. It helps them talk. It helps them fill in gaps between sentences. Don't take that away from them. Just bleep it out. Simple as that. They used to do that on SmackDown all the time. So when The Rock was talking, I mean, it would be bleeped out a lot. So, I mean, at least do that, and then keep the storylines real, keep them good, and if it's PG, so what? That's what TNA needs to do to get the larger audience, and WWE needs to switch to TV-14 now. It's been PG long enough. That's it. Switch it to TV-14, and WWE will become the even stronger company. I mean, it's already on top. What more? It can only go higher if it switches to TV-14. So why not do it? And I think it will happen with Triple H. He's known for pushing the limits. He always has pushed the limits of wrestling. Even back in the day, he pushed it. He was always trying to push it. So, might just happen. But TNA could be a worthy competitor of WWE in the near future if things start taking a good turn. Honestly, I don't see it happening, but if it does, I'd love to see it, because what does competition do? It brings out the best in both companies competing. It forces WWE to actually have to try to please us again, which they're doing now anyway, I think, a little, and that'll only improve. And it forces the other company, TNA, to step it up, which they need to do. They need to step it up. The storylines are, some of them are disgusting, others are just horrible, some of them don't make sense, and then there's some occasional good ones. TNA needs to improve their X division as well, and I'll talk about that maybe in a later video if I actually get some comments on some statuses about what to talk about. Yeah, still make these videos limited to just WWE. I'll talk about ROH, TNA, any day. And that's it.